Imagine waking up one day to find your home underwater. Or stepping outside to air so thick with smoke, you can barely breathe. This isn't a scene from a dystopian movie, it's the reality for millions of people around the world right now. Climate change is here, and it's changing everything. But here's the thing, while the problem is massive, the power to make a difference lies in our hands. Today, we're going to explore the impact of climate change, hear real-life stories of those affected, and most importantly, talk about what you can do to be part of the solution. The impact of climate change, a global crisis. Let's start with the basics. Climate change isn't just about warmer summers or the occasional weird weather. It's a systemic shift that's disrupting life as we know it. Take the Arctic, for example. In the last 30 years, we've lost nearly 95% of the oldest and thickest ice in the Arctic Ocean. This isn't just a problem for polar bears, it's a problem for all of us. Rising sea levels threaten coastal cities, from Miami to Mumbai, displacing millions of people. In Bangladesh, rising sea levels have already forced families to abandon their homes. Farmers like Abdul, who once grew rice on his small plot of land, now struggles to feed his family as saltwater invades his fields. The land that fed us for generations is now barren, he says. We have no choice but to leave. And it's not just rising seas. Extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and intense. In 2020, wildfires ravaged Australia, killing over 1 billion animals and destroying homes and livelihoods. In California, wildfires have become so common that fire season is now a permanent part of the calendar. Sarah, a mother of 2 from California, lost her home in one of these fires. We had minutes to grab what we could and run, she recalls. Everything we built, everything we loved, was gone in an instant. Climate change isn't just an environmental issue, it's a human issue. It's about people like Abdul and Sarah, whose lives have been turned upside down. But it's also about people like you and me. Because whether we realize it or not, climate change affects us all. Take Mary, a farmer in Kenya. For years, she relied on predictable rainy seasons to grow her crops. But now, droughts are longer and more severe. The rains don't come when they should, she says. My children go to bed hungry because there's not enough food. Mary's story is a stark reminder that climate change isn't just about the future, it's happening right now. And while some of US may feel insulated from its effects, the truth is, no one is immune. From food shortages to rising healthcare costs, the ripple effects of climate change touch every corner of our lives. Now, I know what you're thinking, this is overwhelming. What can I possibly do to make a difference? The good news is, there's a lot we can do. And it starts with small, intentional changes. Take the story of Jadav Payeng, a man from India who single-handedly planted an entire forest. Over 30 years, he transformed a barren sandbar into a 1,360-acre forest that's now home to elephants, tigers, and countless other species. If one man can do that, imagine what we can achieve together. Here are some practical steps you can take today. Reduce your carbon footprint, switch to renewable energy, drive less, and eat more plant-based meals. Support sustainable brands, choose companies that prioritize the environment over profit. Use your voice, advocate for climate policies and hold leaders accountable. Educate yourself and others, share what you learn and inspire those around you to take action. Small actions add up. When millions of people make small changes, it creates a wave of impact that can't be ignored. Change is possible. Look at Costa Rica, a country that runs on 99% renewable energy. Or Denmark, where nearly half of all commutes are done by bike. These are proof that when we prioritize the planet, incredible things can happen. Even in your own backyard, change is happening. In Detroit, a group of residents transformed vacant lots into thriving community gardens. Not only do these gardens provide fresh produce, but they also bring people together and create a sense of hope. These stories remind us that while the challenge is great, so is our capacity for innovation and resilience. The question is, will we rise to the occasion? Change is the defining issue of our time. It's easy to feel powerless in the face of such a massive problem, but remember, every action counts. Whether it's planting a tree, reducing waste, or simply talking about climate change with your friends, you have the power to make a difference. Together, we can create a future where stories like Abdul's, Sarah's, and Mary's are no longer the norm. A future where our planet thrives, and so do we. So, what will you do today? The choice is yours. What you can do. Reduce your carbon footprint. Energy use, switch to renewable energy sources like solar or wind power. Use energy-efficient appliances and LED bulbs. Transportation, walk, bike, carpool, or use public transport. Consider electric or hybrid vehicles. Diet, reduce meat and dairy consumption, as livestock farming is a major source of methane emissions. Opt for plant-based foods. Waste, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Compost organic waste to reduce landfill emissions. Support sustainable practices. Buy locally produced goods to reduce transportation emissions. Choose products with minimal packaging and support companies with strong environmental policies. Avoid fast fashion and invest in sustainable clothing. Advocate for change. Vote, support political leaders and policies that prioritize climate action. Raise awareness, educate others about climate change and its impacts. Join movements, participate in climate strikes, petitions, or organizations like Fridays for Future or Greenpeace. Adopt eco-friendly habits. Plant trees to absorb CO2 and support reforestation efforts. Conserve water by fixing leaks and using water-saving devices. Reduce single-use plastics and opt for reusable alternatives. Invest responsibly. Support green technologies and companies committed to sustainability. Divest from fossil fuels and invest in renewable energy projects. Prepare for climate impacts. Educate yourself about local climate risks, e.g., floods, heat waves. Support community initiatives to build resilience, such as urban green spaces or disaster preparedness programs. Why your actions matter. Individual actions, when multiplied across millions of people, can drive significant change. By adopting sustainable practices and advocating for systemic change, you contribute to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and protecting the planet for future generations. Climate change is a global issue that requires collective action. While governments and corporations play a major role, individual efforts are equally important. Start small, stay consistent, and inspire others to join the movement for a sustainable future.
Angels stand to guard my footsteps, lift me up so I won't fall. With his love I am surrounded, by his hand he holds us all.